Okay, so this is my rehearsal journal log for week one of Descent into Darkness. So, what did we do this week? This week, we designed the production schedule. We assigned ourselves roles and we discussed what creative skills and prior knowledge we had so that we could garner a sense of what people would feel comfortable doing with this first project and what skills they could bring to the table. We also worked on the Cornish tin mining theme. So our given title was Descent into Darkness, and we talked about what that could mean and what it means to descend into something. And obviously Lydia had a sort of idea about tin mines, and we developed on that. And we began to sort of build on this idea of the audience being visitors who come to the tin mine, and we discussed why are they coming to the mine, what's their purpose there. And as we started talking about it more and more, the ideas started unfolding. So we basically established that to make the horror experiences believable as possible, we had to connect our current day situation with COVID to what's going on in our play, and that would make it feel like they're really immersed in real life. And obviously, that makes it more scary, more realistic. So what we did is we talked about how in the past there could have been a plague, and we talked about the Spanish flu, the influenza of 1918 to 1920, and we talked about the idea that potentially the mine had been closed, it had been sealed off, and everybody had been put in there who had the flu, which is obviously quite morbid. And we were, or the audience members were archaeologists who are coming back to visit the mines, to reopen this sort of sealed tomb, and to find out more about the current day pandemic. So obviously a lot of ideas going on, and we discussed that. So we workshopped the idea, and it was an experience that I really enjoyed. I've worked on devised pieces before at GCSE level, but doing it in this kind of situation where you've got everybody bringing in like different ideas, and the theme is quite loose. So it was really interesting to see what people came up with, and yeah, just what they could sort of add to it from things they'd seen in films or things that they'd done before that they liked. So we talked about using technology, because obviously the constraints of COVID being that we're not going to have physical contact with the audience. So someone mentioned that we could have a recording playing in their car, and we had to obviously overcome these obstacles. How do we get a recording playing in their car? So we came up with the idea of a CD, and then I spoke about having a projected video at the beginning. And my nephew's just come in, and he's absolutely adorable. So having a come and say hello to Lydia because you're so cute. Having a projected video at the beginning, and basically this would introduce what's going on and introduce them to the mines. And I spoke about it being a Cornish school for tin mining, and then we could really make it as believable as possible because it would be the college campus. I'm just going to get rid of the baby. Okay, I can carry on now. So I mean, I read up about what makes horror most effective, and obviously it's that sense with immersive theatre that they're really in the moment. They're not passive viewers; they're active, and that goes alongside the whole feel of promenade and immersive theatre. That's the idea that the audience don't sit back and allow things to happen to them. They are making decisions. They are archaeologists who are there because they want to be there. They've been chosen, so we make them feel special. We say it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and this will all be sort of said on the video at the beginning, and then the recordings will start to play out. Anyway, let's go back to the skills and everything that I'm working on with this. So I think a major skill that we're working on is time management at the moment. So we've started writing up the production schedule, and we're looking at how can we utilize our time effectively. Dan is the stage manager, and I think that's really good because Dan's a very organized person, and I know that he can bring the whole group together. And everybody's been assigned a role that I think that they would be really good at. So it's nice to know that we're going to be like a strong team. So time management and self-management obviously is important, because if you don't have your work in ready or you're not doing the research, you'll let the team down. So that's something that I've had to think about a lot, because I'm quite sort of nervous about this project, because I don't want to let down the team, and I've got the quite important role of writing the recording. So I'm really into writing, and I love sort of using creativity to form ideas and the storyline. And because of that, obviously, Lydia said that I should write this narrative, and that's a very important task actually, because I have to get all the ideas from everybody else and then plan out so that this voice recording matches every single point of the events. So if we're at a certain point, that recording needs to match up, and what's going on with the action matches up to what I've written and recorded. So I'll be working with George, and I think he's really keen to sort of make this as effective as possible. So what targets did you set yourself? So yeah, obviously I've been looking at voice, projection, articulation, and pitch. We had two singing lessons this week. I would say that they were effective, but I think, to be honest, I'm going to learn more over the time, and it's not something that you just master voice. It's obviously something that I'm working on, and I'm trying to kind of like expand my vocal range. So Lydia gave us some useful tips on our last lesson about projection and pretending that you're pushing your voice out so it bounces off the back wall, and that's quite good, but obviously there's going to be more to learn about that. So what creative decisions have I made for my character role? Well, I'm going to be playing the woman who opens the mine at the beginning, and I want her to be quite posh, and she's very out of touch with what's going on. She's inherited the mine from her family. She's saying, "Oh, welcome to St. Austell School of Mines, and I'm so pleased to have you here." And she's, very clinical, and it's almost eerie because it's like she knows something, but she doesn't quite know. Oh, the light's just gone weird. And so I'm going to look at kind of how to create, quite a posh accent, and how she can use her facial expressions. I'm going to look at that. So I'm going to probably watch maybe a video of someone